Hello and welcome to this week's Adminchat. My name's Amanda Johnson and we are going to be talking about the 10 steps to improve your credibility as a virtual assistant. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to share my screen and stop my video camera. I apologise for having to stop my video camera, but my internet is being a little bit wobbly. And so in order to give you the best experience as we go through this webinar, I think it's easier to turn it off on camera. So during this session, I plan to explore how you can endear yourself to your audience and your peers by sharing your story authentically, for building up your expertise and your credibility. But why am I qualified to sit here and talk about this particular subject? So my background is I did 23 years service in the military before launching my own virtual assistant business. From there, I became a trainer for the company that I had originally trained with. And then fast forward 6 months, I bought that company. And so I'm now the proud owner of VACT Limited. We've been voted the best VA training provider in the UK for 2 years in a row, both 2016 and 2017. More importantly, I'm passionate about inspiring, challenging and supporting virtual assistants. It's all about empowering our virtual assistants to be authentic and awesome. Now, if you have questions during this admin chat, please feel free to tweet me at VA Training Pro. But remember to use the hashtag Adminchat. Or you can always message me at any particular point and I'd be delighted to answer any questions that you have. So one of our biggest reasons for claiming our credibility is that we need to be seen as a business owner first and foremost. Our clients and our potential clients need to recognise that they are not employing us, but instead they're outsourcing to a business owner. And so we have to sit comfortably in the role of CEO of our own business. And we have to value ourselves and we have to value our business in the process. As a virtual assistant, people are generally not looking for a piece of paper that says you can type or that you can manage a diary. What they're looking for is social proof that you can do what you say you can do. So let's put this in a completely non-PA VA context. Let's say we run a personal blog about Burmese cats. Now, I don't actually have any Burmese cats, but if I did, nobody would care whether I had a qualification or not to say that I could blog about Burmese cats. It would help if I had one or I had previously owned one. But if on that blog I said that Burmese cats had short bushy tails and were ginger and white, I would have lost any credibility that I had had up until that point. Our credibility needs to mean that we're believable and that you can deliver the goods that prove this. So in the case of the Burmese cat blog example, if I started saying that Burmese cats were short with bushy tails and ginger and white, I would have lost that credibility. So when we bring this back to the workplace context, it's about knowing how to communicate and connect most effectively and directly with our ideal clients, our actual clients and potential clients, so that anybody who we talk to knows that you are the best person to help them with the issues they're facing. So it's about putting our past into perspective and into words which people can relate to. People will tell you it takes years to build up credibility, and to a point that's true. But think back to the experts who you have given your trust to in the past. Was there anyone who gained your trust and interest almost instantaneously? Did you find yourself either wishing that you were like that person or that you could be mentored by that person? If so, I'd like you to take out your notepad and pen now and think about the way in which you felt. Don't just remember the introduction that you had to that person, but make some notes about what caught your attention. Was it an example they shared, a statement they used, or somebody talking about what you needed to hear right then? How did you feel? Be as detailed as possible, no matter how self-conscious or silly this currently makes you feel. What did that person offer you? How much did it resonate with you? And if you bought it, what did you actually buy? And why did you buy it? If it was a product or a service, how was it delivered? Was the solution that you were promised actually delivered, or was it something else? And post that event, how hard did you have to work to continue the relationship with the person? Do you remember that person's name? Do you remember the next time they emailed you and what their communications were like? What are the things that really stand out in your mind? If you can remember an expert in this way, it could be that that connection was almost instantaneous. And I suppose the most important question now will relate to you in the way in which you do your business is, why was that connection so instantaneous? What really resonated with you? Step 2 in our 10 steps is about determining what credentials you actually need to succeed. So your answer to question 1 or to step 1 sort of determined what you needed to do to attain credibility. If you answered that connection was almost instantaneous because that person was doing the job that you wanted to do, or they had done it in the past, then perhaps credentials such as a qualification or time in that role are important for adding credibility. But if you answered with the Burmese cat context in the sort of forefront of your mind, in the fact that, let's say, the answer to your questions was about a situation that you were going through with your cat, then actually you're not really interested in credentials. You want to know their solution, and you're reassured that the experiences that they have shared on the blog are similar to your own. Let's bring this back to the workplace. If you're trying to enter a field where certain professional organisations hold sway, then you need to show your potential clients or your clients that you are a member of them and you're in good standing. And the more acknowledgement that you have from that organisation, perhaps in the way of awards or accreditation, will help reassure your specific target market. So let's take out that notepad again and think about the type of credentials that you might need within your business. Perhaps you need admin qualifications or certificates, maybe an accreditation, personal experience or practical working experience. It may be that you need to have specific legalities in place. It's worth recognising that there is no formal industry recognised accreditation for virtual assistants in the UK or Europe for the VA profession. But there are specific accreditations recognised for skills or services that VAs can provide. Here I'm thinking of things like bookkeeping or digital marketing. Step 3. Are certificates and credentials, are they really necessary? When you look at your successful competitors or those you deem to be successful, do they have degree qualifications or accreditations? Do they display their degrees after their names? Do they show accreditation stamps or professional organisation logos prominently on their blog or on their website? Most virtual assistants, social media managers, online marketers don't need stringent or specific qualifications. A degree is not a guarantee of having that stronger credibility. And if that degree is too general and not relevant to your client's needs, actually, having it is immaterial. One factor we do need to think about is, are there any certain certifications that law or by legally we need to have? So let's relate this to the virtual assistant industry. A business degree is not half as important to a client who is struggling with setting up their shopping cart or their lead magnet as to whether or not you can do the job for them. If you're earning affiliate incomes by recommending particular products or services, then you do need to have a disclaimer page about affiliate earnings. Certain VAs don't need anything more visible than proven experience. However, some specific tasks might need professional accreditations in place. To summarise, certification, actually no, before I summarise, let's just think bookkeeping. By law, you don't need a bookkeeping qualification to offer bookkeeping services. But by having a qualification or being a member of a professional body, it can certainly enhance your credibility. So let's summarise. Certification, degrees, credentials are sometimes required by law in certain areas, but generally, for most virtual assistants, they're not. When we display or talk about our credentials and certificates, it's only a way of positioning yourself and potentially strengthening the position that you have. If you're able to show a potential client that your membership to a certain body or a certain industry is to their advantage, then it's always something good to have. Every virtual assistant, irrespective of the marketplace they should support, should always keep their ear to the ground to find out about new things that's happening within that niche. And then they should be able to put them into effect. When we can keep our ear to the ground and share that knowledge early with our clients, it raises our credibility. So when you're deciding which of your accreditations or certificates to highlight or display, the main points I think you should keep in mind is show what is legally required, show what your customer or potential clients most urgently needs to see or wants to see. Don't just add things to your website for the sake of adding them. What instead we need to do is make sure they add value to our offering. And by adding value, what we're going to be doing is focusing on our proven results. Step 4, mining your competition. So we spoke earlier about checking how your main competition positions themselves from a credibility piece. And I don't want you to omit this step. But what I would like you to do is think collaboration, not competition. And once you're thinking collaboration, not competition, ask yourself the following questions. What sells my competitors to their clients? What do they have that I don't? But what advantages do I have that perhaps they don't? What are my competitors' clients saying about them? What do they get praised for? Is anybody saying anything negative about them? When I talk about mining your competition, I don't want you to think just locally. Instead, if you are a specialist in a particular software, I want you to look at who your local VAs are so that you know who potential clients in your local geographic area are talking to. But if you look after a particular software or have a particular skill set, I also want you to look at who else offers those services on both a national basis and an international basis. Because sometimes when we focus and specialise on a particular software, we might be a small handful of people who work within that field. And sometimes it's about collaborating with others and not competing against them to be able to support clients with that particular skill set. When we've asked ourselves these questions, and I generally suggest keeping a spreadsheet of who those people are and reviewing it every 6 months, we will get some real big clues on how we can help start positioning ourselves and boosting our own credibility with those that we meet, both online and offline. Step 5, storytelling. The best way to create credibility lies in 2 very simple actions. The first one is to think of your website as your story. I often describe our website as a brochure into you. And then we take that story and we share that story across our social networks, social media, in any videos or webinars that we do, in our articles, in our guest blogging, at events, and when we're networking. There's one key point with both of these actions, and that is your story has to mirror your ideal customer or your ideal client's story. Show them that you totally understand their challenges and you can provide a solution for whatever trouble they're having. In other words, both our customers and our potential customers have to be able to relate to us. If we go back to the first exercise where you thought of a professional that you connected with instantaneously after reading an article or a post or something that they had on their website. And it's most likely when you read that article or you read their website, you found yourself saying, it's as if they're talking to me. Yes, they know how I feel. They're answering my questions. And that's because you were able to feel that they were relating to you, that they were talking to just you. So the best way to give credibility to any of our stories is to just tell it like it is. Once we've written that story, we can edit out anything that doesn't relate to our customers. For example, let's say you have an epiphany about bird watching, and if your website is there to help a client systemize their business, don't tell them the bird watching story unless it's while hiking through miles and miles of trails that's in the search of some rare bird that you actually work through the steps that they need to take in their business. And so the bird bit, what you're doing is you're showing how we need to have patience and systemize and processes and research and all those sorts of things. In that case, it does add credibility. So how are we going to tell a great story? One that's going to resonate with our ideal clients? Well, first off, we need to find out their biggest concern, problems, desires, or need. Don't be hasty about this. Think logically, literally, laterally. Think about what you're reading, hearing, and what they're showing you. For example, when a client says, I need someone to do my bookkeeping, yes, he may mean he needs somebody to do his bookkeeping. But stop. Take the time to think about what is really underneath that comment. Look for clues in other statements that they're saying, complaints or questions. Or you could just ask your client why they need somebody to do that bookkeeping. What they could be saying really is, I hate bookkeeping, maths brings me out in hives or causes me to have a panic. Or they could be saying, I can do it, but actually when I'm doing my bookkeeping, I'm not earning any money. I make the money when I coach a client or build a website. Quite often creative businesses will say they feel frazzled and overwhelmed when trying to do bookkeeping, and they'd much rather stay in that creative flow state. What other examples could you use here? Have you heard people talk about, I need somebody to do my admin or my email management, my inbox management, my social media, my customer support? How could you turn those examples around to help you tell a great story. The thing is, great storytellers don't just speak to their clients' visible problems. They tap into that hidden fear, desire, or frustration that's bubbling just underneath the surface. And they address that hidden issue directly. They create loyalty and they create credibility. So I want you to speak to your clients with your own voice. People think they need to put an image on what it is they do in business. Do you know what? People see through that insincerity much quicker online than what they used to do when we only saw them face to face. When people read your articles, your blog posts, your social media posts, they need to hear the same voice you use when you speak to them. In their minds, there should be no difference between reading what you've written to listening to your voice. It's interesting, when people read my VA Mastery course notes, they say it's like having a conversation with me. They're written in exactly the same style that I write. Next, I want you to be ruthless. Now, I don't want you to be ruthless with your clients, but I want you to be ruthless with your storytelling. If a sentence or a paragraph doesn't support what it is you're saying, and you don't need it to reinforce your message, then please don't use it. Cut out adjectives and adverbs and keep sentences short. It's much easier for your reader to follow. Avoid self-indulgence. Only tell anecdotes when you need to, if it directly relates to the reader's problem or need. Don't just vent for the sake of venting. If you need to vent somewhere about what your clients are doing, then do it with somebody like a VA mentor, members of your mastermind group. Don't do it with the clients or the customers or in such a way that others will see it. The moment you vent, actually, that story is now about you and it's no longer about your audience. What we need to remember is we're focusing on our ideal clients or our current clients. It's not about you. It's got to be about them. Then I want us to be repetitive. I don't want you to be repetitive like a broken record, but I want you to communicate in a way that your audience comes to expect. So this is where you can use templates to help you create that repetitive consistency. It's about creating regular reoccurring features that people can look forward to and remember. There's a reason that children love stories based on simple repetition. Repetition means structure, and structure equals safety. And safety, well, that gives us credibility. So even when you share a different service that you offer, presenting it stamped in such a way with elements of repetition, whether that's your company colours, your logo, your pricing structure, helps those around you to feel reassured and excited to take that next step. My fifth point here is about being real. So we've talked about repetition and consistency and giving our clients that safety. But when it comes to you, how prepared are you to take risks? How much of the real you will you reveal to yourself? How much will you allow others to really get to see that you understand their life circumstances? If you are perfect in your life, they're never going to relate to you, however much they might envy you. But if they know you've had the same weaknesses, struggles, challenges, failures, it will mean so much more to your clients when they see that now you've surpassed these. This is the proof that you can really do what you say you can do. In all of this, it's about having emotional credibility with our clients. And emotional credibility is all about relevance. And do you know what? It's not really about you. It's only ever about your current clients or your potential clients and the journey or the issues that they are currently facing. Step 6 is about knowing your audience. To prove credibility, you have to totally understand your particular and unique audience and those who are looking to work with somebody like you. Consumers, clients, customers, whatever you want to call them, have gotten much better at spotting those who are fake, which means they need more proof to see that you are the right person for them. On the other hand, barriers to purchasing have dropped. Although online security continues to be a major issue for people, there is no longer a huge fear preventing a lot of people from checking you out online to making that decision to buying from you and to engage in your services. Now, some things haven't changed. You will always get the odd customer who purchases and then doesn't want to delegate to you, or the client who insists on looking over your shoulder and micromanaging every step of a project. Those are actually just human character traits and cultural trends that you have got to take into account, anticipate and plan for when setting up your services and your website. But the more thoroughly you can anticipate those things, the better you can prevent misunderstandings or dissatisfactions. And then you're going to have happy clients, and happy clients means better testimonials and better recommendations. Better recommendations means greater credibility. Step 7 is about practical experience. You don't always need to have literally walked the walk, but if you haven't done so, you do need to make sure that you thoroughly understand what you're sharing or what it is you're telling people, and that what you're sharing is valid and valuable. Providing well-researched, accurate facts or services to your ideal client that they can use successfully within their business. And the best way to be credible is to genuinely focus on serving your clients, caring about their problems, finding and delivering real solutions. And when you've found that solution, go back and rethink it again. Is there a way that you can take this one step further by making it better or making it simpler? When we value, you need to value yourself as well as valuing your customer. It's much easier to provide the perfect solution when we really value both parties. This way, you'll be paid what you deserve, and your reputation will continue to grow as clients and potential clients spread the word about you. It's worth remembering, the more practical experience you have in your chosen field, the more confident you will feel. And the more confident you will feel, the more confidence you will project to those who you meet. The more practical experience you have in your chosen field, the less likely you are to talk about yourself, and you're more likely to talk about the results that you will deliver. It would be naive of you to sit back and think all this wonderful buzz of credibility just happens. You do need to promote yourself in the right places, in the right voice, in the right way. And how much promotion you do will depend how much you're already known in your field. So how can we improve that visibility? You don't need to have a big budget or a large team, but we can duplicate some of the strategies that large organisations use. And I'm going to share 3 of those strategies with you. The first one is to show and don't tell. Could you create a video series about something that you can do and start sharing those videos? Focus on a real narrow area of the skill or service that you want to be known for, preferably something that your competitors have not yet managed to successfully cover, and build a small email series or video series around that. For example, if you're going to focus on a particular software in your VA business, you could create a video series of hints, tips, tricks to master. Each episode or each video should demonstrate a different hint or tip. And then you could create a video and release it demonstrating how your support package could be used by clients and how they could get their hands on it. Now, it's going to be up to you to decide on the intervals between video release or how long each video should be. But what I want you to do is, in the time between each video, spread the word about the video series. Ask others to share your links, use social media posts or email marketing to get the information out there. Do your best within each episode to identify the common glitch or problem that people are experiencing with whatever it is you're demonstrating, and show them a really easy or logical way in which they can overcome it. Don't overwhelm them with industry jargon or try to be a show-off. Focus your attention 110% on helping them overcome and master their big problem with whatever software or component it is that you're showing. Once you've done those videos, you can create some blog posts about those videos and use the written post as a teaser. You can embed the video into that blog post, or you could actually create an email and send them a link to watch it. Notice that video performs one other valuable service to you in helping you establish visibility. Now, visibility is that first step to credibility. So when we do video, people see your face in what feels like real time. They see your facial expressions, they hear your tone of voice, the experience you have, your confidence and your mastery of your topic. It's one of the reasons I hate not being on camera to deliver this Adminchat. But do you know what? It's one of those things. So I then want you to ask and share information. Always make sure your social media posts, your blogs, your videos include a call to action. Now, that call to action should flow naturally from each piece of content that you do. Your calls to action should never feel like a sales piece. There could be a very obvious link to a service that you want the reader of that post to do or to check out and to learn more about, but we don't want to be salesy. A social media call to action could be as simple as asking somebody to share the knowledge, or you could be inviting them to book a call with you or to sign up for something of value. Make people feel important and that what it is you're sharing with them will help them. It's about making them feel included and acknowledged, and it's about resonating with them. If you want to be seen as the go-to person in your industry or for a particular software or something like that, you have to make a commitment to staying on top of new developments and changes. And then you need to be the person that shares that knowledge with your potential clients and your clients. If you're the first person to be sharing that knowledge and you've become seen as their credible resource, then they are really going to appreciate you. Step 8, authenticity. Authenticity is one of those words that lots of people feel is overused. Well, I don't think it's overused when it's used correctly. For me, if you want to build credibility, people have to feel that they can trust you absolutely. Speaking to them with your whole focus on them and their needs is the only step in making sure that this trust will develop. And this is how you can do it. By being transparent. If you don't know something, tell them. If you say you'll do something, do it. It's about building your reputation, and people need to know what your core values are, what you stand for, what they can count on you to provide, and what they can count on you not to provide, how you can help them. This means you need to know your own core values, and you need to understand your own worth. We also need to learn to listen. What makes someone trust another person? Well, there's many things, but high on that list is feeling that the person we're talking to cares. Surprisingly, too many VAs undermine themselves in this area by not actively listening. Instead, they're too busy of thinking of the perfect thing to say in response to what they think you're trying to say. The result? Well, the person or the ideal client feels cut off, especially when the VA begins to talk over the top of them, anxious to dispense their knowledge and expertise. And instead, all it does is it leaves the potential client feeling unheard, belittled, potentially boring, or any other negative emotion. Remember this. You may have heard that question or an identical question 100 times. But do you know what? It's new to the person asking you. And so, instead, we need to really listen. We need to acknowledge what they're saying, mirror back, restate the person's point, and check that we've really understood what they're asking us. And wait till they have finished speaking before sharing our ideas. And while you're busy being authentic, make sure that that authenticity comes across in everything you do. Even down to things like making sure the photo on your website and your social media profiles is current and updated often. It's about knowing your mission, knowing your values, and not being afraid to say, I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out. Step 9, reassurance. There are plenty of ways to provide reassurance, and a big part of that credibility piece is talking to our right audience. There are 3 easy, simple, but important ways to provide reassurance to our audience. It's about the way in which we deliver things. By building credibility and then delivering exactly what you promised you would, and making sure that what you promised you would do does exactly what it should. It's about not including any nasty little surprises. If you provide upsells to somebody, make sure that those upsells are relevant and that actually the person wants to be upsold to. It's always a grand thing if you provide more than what they've asked for, but it's not strictly necessary as long as what you promised more than delights. In fact, it's worth avoiding bombarding your customers with dozens or hundreds of other bonuses, especially when they're not related to the service that they bought, or they don't add value or enhance the services that you're offering. Remember, there is a difference between delivering what we say we're going to do and over-delivering. Another great way of providing reassurance is through testimonials, referrals, and recommendations. But here, what we're doing is we're allowing other people to build our credibility for us. And we need to make sure that it's easy for our current clients to recommend us. And so a great thing here is to use that calls to action piece, asking for referrals. In the beginning, it can feel quite hard to do this, but it does get easier if we make it part of our habit or a pattern. Make it part of your onboarding process. Tell your clients at what point you're likely to ask them for a testimonial, or during your quarterly or 6-monthly reviews with your clients. When we've got those testimonials, we can add them to our literature, our presentations, have them as part of our website and our social media profile. One of the ways in which I do this is I have a testimonials button on the menu of my website. It allows people very quickly and easily to see what it's like to work with me. And it will list a whole variety of testimonials for the various courses I offer. But I also add testimonials where relevant to the bottom of sales pages. Now, in this particular case, I have 3 or 4 testimonials on one particular sales page that rotate, and it allows people to very quickly and easily see how I've impacted other people's businesses for the service that they're thinking of buying. And then it's about customer service. You've made the sale, you've got the client on board, you're now focusing on doing the job. But actually, it's making sure that what we've said to our clients they can do can be done. So if you have a client portal on your website, that they can easily access it, that they can find the information they need quickly, and that they know how to contact you. It's all about making that customer service and delivery easy. The final step in our 10 steps to claiming our credibility as a virtual assistant is all around the follow-up. It's about making sure that we nurture, nourish, and continue to build the reputation with our existing clients, with those who are our potential clients, with those who share our posts with others, so our fans and followers, people we've met networking who we may never have worked with, but actually they are an advocate of what it is we do. And then with our visitors and our subscribers. This is all about maintaining both online and offline relationships. So online, that might be through social media, through email marketing, through social media, those sorts of things, email marketing. My brain is completely failed. Our website, our blog, those sorts of things. And then offline, that could be from meeting us at workshops, events, the materials that they take away. We need to make sure that there are no gaps in our visibility, either with our clients who are existing, our potential clients, and those who share our sort of business, so our fans and our followers. This is a real relationship, so I want you to treat it as a real relationship. Think about how you would interact with a friend in person, yet that real sort of interaction, not just on social media. Think about consistency. Don't bombard your subscribers with new offers literally the moment they sign up to your email list. Give them time to check you out and to learn about you. But at the same time, don't disappear for weeks or months on end and then suddenly pop up in their inbox. It's about being consistent. If you say you're going to email them weekly, email them weekly. If you tell them it's monthly or quarterly, then make sure it's monthly or quarterly. And in between, you can be providing tips, hints, information, answering questions, tell them where they can find those answers, whether it's on your website, whether it's on your social media platforms, and which platforms it's going to be. You want to keep them up to date on new changes to either your services or your products as your business expands. Think about when you add new skills to your business and sharing that knowledge. It might be that new skill is the thing that they need and therefore they want to work with you. What we also need to understand is where they're coming from. They are running busy businesses too. So actually, it's about showing them that you're there and that you care. And even if that caring is just simply you behind the scenes nurturing that relationship, but being visible just when they need you. There's really no substitute for confidence and for focusing on your customer and what they need in their business. So, thank you. Let me just come back on camera. So I'm hoping you found that useful. What I'm hoping that is that if you've got any questions, whether it's questions about going from being a PA to VA or an EA to a VA, then please feel free to pop over to the VACT website. There's lots of free resources on the site that I share. The website is www.vact.co.uk, or you can tweet me at VA Training Pro. If you've got questions about this particular Adminchat, then of course please tweet me, use the hashtag Adminchat, and I'd be delighted to answer any questions that you've got. I think it's worth remembering that these steps to claiming your credibility are only as good as when you do it. We need to value ourselves as virtual assistants, but actually we need to value ourselves as a business owner first and foremost. And it's about sharing that knowledge and that expertise with those around us. And it's the way in which we can support those clients. So, as I said, thank you very much for joining me on Adminchat. I'm sorry that I wasn't on camera for the whole point, but I'm hoping that my internet, etc., has been stable enough to record this for us. And then I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care. Thank you.